Take me to church.
That is what I did today.
Yes. You know when you have a song stuck in your head? I don't even know where I was listening. I think I was in my Mini Cooper and the song came on. But I had it stuck in my head. And then all this morning, Taylor was driving me to church. And I was like, just randomly, take me to church. And it was so funny.
All day.
Yeah, it was great.
All day.
It's great. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about You People.
Hey, that's racist.
You People, it's a movie.
It is a movie.
We're not talking about the audience, You People.
We have a movie review today. It's been a little bit since we did one. I forget what we even talked about last one.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's been us.
It's
been a hot second. So we're going to do a movie review, the first one of 2023.
Woo!
Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Strive Nation podcast, the podcast where we talk about the monotony of daily life. But hey, that's okay because sometimes that's exactly what you need in this crazy world. My name is Cory Estreen, and I'm joined with my fiance and co-host, Taylor Huff. How are you doing this fine evening?
I'm good.
Great.
Got some heartburn.
Oh, I am sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, llamas with hats. It's like, oh, you can't do that. That kills people, Carl.
Guys.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I did not know that. That is my bad.
I literally just found out what Cory's talking about only a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, if you don't know what this is like OG YouTube when YouTube was good. Llamas with hats. YouTube that and watch it.
It's a good chuckle.
Yes, it's very funny.
Yes.
Okay, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a matcha latte with a cream top from Shabu Shabu.
Very nice, very nice.
Yes.
Is it good? What's it taste like?
You know what? I literally haven't even tasted it yet. I've had this drink for hours. Okay, first sip. Ooh. This is what all my white girl Asian appropriation dreams are made of.
Oh, there you go. Let me
Do you
let
want
me
to try?
Yes, please.
It's good. I love matcha.
Oh, damn, that is good. It's like a milk that people want to drink. Okay.
What do you mean? People don't want to drink milk?
Not compared to that. That's yummy.
Well, this is matcha.
Well, I like it.
It's not milk.
It's very good.
Thank you. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a mango boba smoothie
Ew.
from Shabu Shabu.
Can you tell where we just were at?
We were at Shabu Shabu. It's like a hot pot place
Yeah.
with a robot that drives around and sings you birthday songs.
And you cook your own meats.
Yeah. Except I overeat because it's like all you can eat.
Yes. How's
So-
your smoothie?
It's good.
Have a sip.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not a big boba person. Oh, that's really good. It tastes... Oh my god. That's why... Okay, I figured out what it tastes like.
What?
It tastes like a mango lassi.
Yeah?
Lassi. Again, culture appropriation. It's Indian drink that a lot of curry, Indian restaurants have.
Okay.
That is what that is. It's not an actual mango smoothie. It's a mango lassi with boba in it. Oh, that's good. That's why I was tasting cardamom.
Well, there you go.
God, I'm so fucking smart.
Well,
Thank you.
someone is.
Pause the show.
Before we start the show, make sure that you go right now and follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Strive Nation Pod for all the coolest content on the internet. And for you visual people, head over to YouTube and smash the subscribe button and like every video to show that you care. But first,
Upvotes and downvotes.
upvotes and downvotes and per usual, ladies first.
What a very exciting 2 weeks. My upvote is after almost 30 years, my wisdom teeth are finally gone.
Wow, good for you. You know, and the
Yes.
roots weren't ingrained or anything into your bone or whatever.
Yeah, no. It went super easy. He took some of my blood out of my body and spun it up and made blood clots. And he put the blood clots underneath my stitches. So that's cool and weird and gross. And also, they left blood, a stream of blood running down the side of my face that Cory had to tell me about.
Yeah, I left it on there for like an hour though. Like, we were driving around. We went to, like, Walgreens and everything. And then finally I'm like, by the way, you have blood all over your face.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it was great.
I remember walking home from Walgreens with my pain medication. He's like, you have blood all over you. I'm not sure why they'd let me leave in that condition.
I don't know.
But they're gone.
But it was a good joke for me. So.
Yeah, great for you. What's
Yeah.
your upvote?
Shabu Shabu. We celebrated Valentine's early
We did.
because it's hard to celebrate Valentine's out on Valentine's Day.
Without reservations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why would you want to anyways? It's always crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's out.
Instead, be like us. Choose Super Bowl Sunday, and no one's out to dinner.
Right. Everyone is right. Everyone's out watching the game instead.
Yeah.
So,
Honestly, that was pretty clutch.
Plus, and who cares about the Super Bowl? Honestly.
I mean, I do want to see Rihanna's halftime show, and the Kelsey brothers are in the Super Bowl.
Okay. Well.
You know who they are.
Yeah, like Kyle Kelsey.
And Travis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis Kelsey.
Okay.
Good
Calm
looking,
down
sir.
there. Calm down.
Since there's no Joe Burrow, I'll settle for him.
He's not even a bro. There's been
Joe
so
Burrow
many.
is so attractive. I'm going to say Travis Kelsey is more attractive. He's beefier and taller and manlier and has a beard and dresses really fucking cool. But Joe Burrow is also hot.
It's like this is what I don't understand about this. It's like you women have never seen an attractive guy before. It's like, oh my god, there's one. He's like 6'2" and he has no body hair. I love it. It's like y'all are like, I don't know. I don't get me down this road. It won't be good out. It won't be a good look for y'all.
All I'm saying is I know more football players' names this year than any year before.
Well, good for you. That's excellent. All right, but yes, we did celebrate our Valentine's a bit early by going to Shabu Shabu, which is a hot pot place.
Yes.
Yes, so it's lovely. What's your downvote?
My downvote. Okay. Picture this. Wednesday, wisdom tooth consultation. Schedules it for Friday, because that's the only day available. Thursday, chokes on a piece of chicken for an hour and a half. Goes to emergency room. Finds out I need another surgery. Friday, wisdom tooth surgery. Wednesday, throat surgery.
Yeah, you're having a bad week.
I had 2 surgeries in under a week from each other. That is my downvote. I hit my deductible for 6 weeks of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were under the weather for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't eat anything, no stringy foods. Like
All soft foods.
Yeah.
The doctor in the emergency room, my coworker was with me because she had to drive me from work. And the doctor's like, okay, no meat, no protein, very small things you cannot choke on, preferably as soft as possible. Try to be vegetarian. Well, if you guys don't recall, I'm keto. So it's kind of the opposite of my entire diet from the last 2 months. So I ate mashed potatoes, lukewarm, because of my throat. Mac and cheese, lukewarm, because of my throat.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I didn't. I ended up eating the mashed potatoes, the instant, and I thought they're pretty good. Like instant potatoes are like underrated, I think.
Okay, it's not that they weren't bad. It's just because I had my wisdom teeth and my throat surgery, I was only eating mushy food for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was annoying.
Right, you are.
Yeah. What's your downvote?
My downvote is I eat too much. I'm like, you know those little puppies that like you put out food and they go nuts and they eat as much as they can, regardless of how much is there. That's me. And it doesn't even matter what the food is. That's the worst part. Is like I eat too much, and I know I should stop, and I just keep going until like I'm in considerable amount of pain. And that's what happened tonight.
He finished his food so fast, and then he looked at me, and it was like it was already 10 minutes after he's done eating, and I'm still eating. He's like, "Oh, you're still going," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to eat fast," and it took me another 30 minutes to keep eating.
Yeah, I got wrecked. Like I wrecked myself.
I think we should get you a slow feeder.
No, it can't do that because that just irritates me. That just pisses me off.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's something that disperses food out at like increments.
They use it for dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bowl that has like the maze like grooves in it. And you put this food, you like mash it in there. So it takes you longer to eat it.
Yeah, you know what a slow feeder is in human form?
What?
Small plates. That's what a slow feeder is.
Timed small plates.
Right. See, the thing about small plates and like slow feeders in human form is that I would never get full. I would indefinitely eat with small plates. By the time I get enough small plates, I'm just going to keep eating. I'll probably,
Just eat forever and ever and
yeah,
ever.
and never stop, It's too long.
You metabolize
Yes.
the plate 1 before you even get plate 2.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready for this movie review of You People?
Yes.
Before we talk to everyone about what we thought of the movie, let's give a rundown of what the movie is. It's on Netflix, first of all.
Yes.
Okay, so that should already tell you a little bit about the film. Netflix is kind of woke, just like Disney, kind of woke. I mean,
like everyone,
all your big media entertainment platforms are kind of woke. So it's called You People. The name is pretty suggestive as well.
Mm-hmm. So let me give you a rundown. It's a romantic comedy. It is Valentine's this week. If you need a cute movie to watch, maybe watch this. Hint, hint. So it's directed by Kenya Barris, and he co-wrote this with Jonah Hill. The film features an ensemble of cast that includes Jonah Hill, obviously, Lauren London,
David Duchovny,
Nia Long, I don't know,
Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
and Eddie Murphy. So most of the plot focuses on an interracial couple and how their families reckon with modern love amid their cultural clashes, social expectations, and their generational differences.
Okay. We got to preface this with we're not going to do spoiler alerts here. Go watch the film and then come listen to this because it's kind of hard to talk about the plot and the narrative of the film without giving away some of the funniest moments. We're going to say everything here. Yeah. Spoiler alert right now.
Entire episode.
Everything that precedes.
Starting with
Well, what did you think about the film?
I freaking loved it. I was skeptical. And then we watched the trailer and I was like, oh my God, wow, that looks really funny. And the entire movie, I was waiting to get pissed off. I was waiting to get triggered, as the lefties say. And I never did. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny too. It like exceeded my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting, to be honest though, I was going into it like 50-50 thinking something was going to happen. I was like, if it's funny, great.
Yeah.
If it's not funny, that's fine too. I didn't know a whole lot about I am a huge Eddie Murphy fan and I really like Jonah Hill as well.
Yeah.
So I was like hoping that they were going to be like the pinnacle of their humor and their comedy, and I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah.
So.
I loved that it was like your very typical. I feel like we don't get rom-coms anymore. Like a true rom-com.
Right.
We haven't had one in a very long time. This is like the true rom-com.
Yes.
Like genuinely funny. It is a romantic movie. It was just good feels.
Yeah, it didn't tiptoe around jokes at all.
No.
It kind of just did them, and if you liked it, great. If you didn't like it, that's too bad. They went for it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I really liked it. I would have given it probably around an 85, I think. What would you given it on a scale of 1 to 100?
You stole my score.
Oh, really? Same?
Yeah, I was literally in my brain 85, and then you said it.
Yeah,
Great
I
minds
thought
think alike.
not crazy amazing, but not terrible by any means.
Definitely the best rom-com writing I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
The comedy is really good. I like the story. I loved the atmosphere building. It was super relatable.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing is all of the jokes and everything and all of the relationships, like it was relatable to like the everyday man.
Yeah.
So that one, we'll talk about that. Now let's get to the critics. What did they think about the film?
All right, so we're gonna have to disagree with the masses on this film. So obviously we checked Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it a 42, and audience gave it a 46.
Yeah, so they were on about it.
I know. So I picked one example that kind of followed the through line of all the critic reviews for the most part, and it was this quote of, "The film is much more interested in social embarrassment, cringe, and gags than it is in any sort of close examination of how racism affects interracial couples." That was basically through line of all the critic reviews. It was like, this is poking fun at everything. It doesn't really take interracial marriage relationships seriously. Like, falls flat. That was basically all of the critic reviews.
Yeah, and I would disagree with all of that.
Oh, same.
Well, and my original interpretation of what critics would say about this movie, I didn't even need to look at the critics. I knew landscape of how critiquing is these days.
Yeah.
Is the critics are focused on agenda pushing rather than the entertainment value or even real like narrative itself.
Yeah.
Like she just described, it was more interested in social embarrassment, cringe, and gags than any real examination of how racism affects interracial couples. Like, it's not supposed to be an examination of how racism affects. It was supposed to showcase the relationship itself.
Yeah.
And how culture's different. It's not supposed to be about racism.
No,
the movie wasn't about racism.
No, it's not even so much about interracial couple. It's more about cultural differences. It's more about the religious differences.
It was
if
more
anything.
about cultural and religious differences than it was about race at all.
Yeah.
It was highly, highly focused on Judaism and Islam.
Mm-hmm. So in the movie, Jonah Hill's character is Jewish. Like, his family is like uber Jews. And then Lauren London, her family, which Eddie Murphy plays her dad, they are they're not Muslim. They study Islam.
Right.
So it was more about Judaism and the Islamic religion clashing, which is so funny because they're very, very, very similar to each other.
Right, yeah.
Like, scary similar. Like, you couldn't have picked two more similar religions.
Well, and it's great because like the film and the writing picks fun at both of them evenly. Like, it makes Jewish jokes, it makes Islamic jokes. They burn his kufa or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that was so funny.
It was funny.
Yeah, and Eddie Murphy was great here too. He's very, very stern but very dry humor.
Yeah. So getting back to the critic reviews, I just think it wasn't woke enough for them. They wanted something super woke. They wanted something BLM pushing, and it just wasn't that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right there. That's a perfect example of what the critics are looking for in these movies. It's not about the entertainment value at all. Mm-hmm. The thing is if people go into a movie and they find value in it or they find it entertaining, the movie's doing something right. And I always say this.
So audience, like I said, gave it a 46. A smidge better than critic, not really. I looked at all the audience reviews, and all the audience reviews kept saying that it was too cheesy, that it wasn't like great examples of interracial dating, like it wasn't good enough examples of interracial dating, kind of touching on what the critics were saying as well, saying it was not funny, that it was bad writing, not enjoyable to watch, a waste of time. And I just really disagreed with all of these reviews.
Yeah, I thought it was a great watch. Like, I was like, damn, that was a good movie.
Like, for reference, we were watching this on the plane to New Orleans. We were upset the plane landed and we didn't get to finish the movie. We went back to our hotel, and as soon as we could check in, we immediately finished the movie.
Yeah, it was
like,
good.
Screw New Orleans. What is the ending of You People?
Yeah, it was. I really liked it.
Yeah.
The central theme of the movie appeared to be, it doesn't matter what your heritage, skin color, or job is, your actions and how you love people is what truly matters. That's what I found
That was really well put.
You like that?
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Right, that's exactly what I think it is. It like it went into the differences in the parents and their heritage, and differences in skin colors between them.
Mm-hmm.
The jobs, they focus highly on which jobs, especially when it comes to Jewish people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because like the whole idea of them being penny pinchers and like don't
Yeah.
whatever with money, like all that came in to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't matter at the end. The love between Ezra and Amira was more important, and that's what that's what it should be, to honestly. So then the whole story was really well done.
I have a really good quote from Lauren London, who plays the female lead, Amira. So she was in an interview, and she said, "I thought, why would these two people really like each other? We have to showcase a real connection. They're from two totally different worlds, and if you see them, you would never think that they would meet or hang out, whatever the case is. It was a conversation on connecting with people genuinely and going for the soul connection. That's what he told me." And he's referencing Jonah Hill's.
Yeah, I think she's 100% right, because it really shouldn't matter. Like when you see people deeply, the connection is the only thing that matters. All this other stuff is just noise.
Yeah, which, I mean, it is funny because, like, the movie opens up with their meet cute, right? Like, Jonah Hill is this finance guy who has a podcast about the culture, specifically, like, hip-hop and black culture. And so he's this 30s Jewish dude who's got, like, some swaggy streetwear and freaking awesome shoes. And then he meets Amira, who's a costume designer and has, like, this super similar streetwear, and they have the same interests. And if him not getting into her car by accident, they never would have met otherwise.
Right.
But then they go on a date, and they end up finding out they have so much in common because they have similar interests. They're both really into streetwear. They're really into hip-hop culture. All these things that, like, he stereotypically shouldn't be into, but he's super passionate about it, so much so he has a podcast, and that's what ends up being his career in the end. So I thought that was really cool. Like, it doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you have the same, like, you have genuine connection and interest in the same things, like, you can get along.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that old adage is really, really true of don't judge a book by its cover, because you never really know what people are interested in. And like if you remove the skin color or whatever completely, if these people are talking over text, like they would really like each other based on their interests. That has nothing to do with everything else.
Yeah.
And that's a good pulse on whether or not it's about other things rather than the important things.
So. I think in this climate, like in the climate that is America right now too, I thought that was a really good message. Like, you can come from different places, but you can always find something in common with other people.
Yeah.
And that's what brings you together with them.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool too. It was almost like the film tries to use Islam and Judaism as fronts to black and white, as like to pass through the jokes through. Is like, oh, like the whole black and white culture is really temperamental right now. We'll pass all the jokes through instead a filter of like religion instead, because everyone understands, like, hey, like, it's a lot easier to make jokes about religion than it is about race, you know? But they send the jokes through. They just send it through this religious filter instead. And I thought that was really smart.
It was really clever.
Yeah.
Like, that's my problem with all these critiques being, like, poor writing. That's really freaking clever writing. To see that as a better pathway of these jokes landing, instead of just taking the easy, like, black hitting on the white jokes, white hitting on the black jokes.
Right.
I love the one example. So Amira's Islamic, and they're arguing about who's going to marry them, because his parents want their rabbi, her parents, I don't know what their, like, religious leader's called, wants their religious leader, and she is, like, taking her dad's side and all of a sudden wants to be really religious about it. And he is like, since when are you just devout Islamic? Like, you were freaking eating bacon this morning.
Yeah.
And she's like, you ate the bacon too, because both religions, like, you don't eat pork. Yeah, those are I think that was, like, one of my favorite jokes.
Yeah, that was great.
Because it was, like, it was showing how similar these religions are. And you would never, like, picture these two religions being so similar.
Well, and another thing is, like, it is so reminded me of like how families interact. Is like you're 100% with your significant other, and then your mom or your dad gets involved, and then you're like, you want to like support them too in the decision. So you're like, yeah, and then you're like, what? Like that doesn't, you never thought of this before, but now because it's your mom or whatever, and
your parents are influencing, so you're like,
right.
I'm gonna.
And that's what she did at one point in the movie, and Jonah Hill kind of points that out, like, "Hey, bro, you ate bacon this morning." Like,
it was good. It was really, really good.
How do we think like Jonah Hill did? So we haven't seen Jonah Hill a lot in movies, but he's a fantastic actor. He's been around for a while now, especially lost all that weight.
He was amazing.
Yeah, you thought he was amazing?
Yeah, and he was the co-writer on this too.
Yeah.
I thought he did good, so good.
Yeah, I'm like a Jonah Hill fan. I really like his type of comedy. Watching him back when he was in Superbad, and it's very similar kind of. Jonah Hill has a very specialized type of comedy, unique to himself.
He was good.
All guns blazing
so
with this
witty.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason he wanted to co-write this movie, and kind of put this movie together, and that's how he got started talking with Kenya Barris. So he was in an interracial relationship at the time when him and Kenya started talking about wanting to do a movie, wanted to co-write it. And they're also both from LA. And they were talking about how there's never been a love letter to LA from their generation, from like our generation, millennials. So they wanted to write a love letter to LA and then a love letter to culture, which I think came across really, really well in this movie.
Yeah, I think so too. Not that I really like LA at all, but
I mean,
for them it was good if they've lived there their whole lives,
Yeah, I mean, they showed like iconic places like Roscoe's, like the basketball courts, like LA kind of Compton barbershops, especially since they're from LA. I think they highlighted the parts of LA that really makes it unique to them specifically.
Well, if you live there too, it's like it's your home, right? So like they show all the places that are important to them.
Mm-hmm. Which is true. Like there's a couple movies that are like based. There's like one rom-com that's based in LA that has a couple landmarks in it, but it's not really. It doesn't really focus on it. Where I feel like this movie, because of the culture that is LA. And, like, the black culture and the hip-hop culture that is there, that was infused throughout the entire movie across both the characters.
Yeah. What do you think about Lauren London playing Amira?
Oh, my God. I really liked her.
Yeah.
I don't know what else she's in, but I really enjoyed her.
Or she did a really good job making the character like, hey, all of these things that are usually synonymous with black culture, but at the same time, like, they separated her as an individual that likes other things as well. And I thought she did a good job, like, playing the two.
Each character was very well-rounded as far as the two leads. I think they did a really good job of rounding out both of the main characters because it's very easy to kind of just make them like stereotypical, strong, independent black female LA. Independent, finance, Jew guy. But they are super well-rounded. Like her character was a costume designer. And you saw her designing, like, historic costume pieces for different productions and stuff that she was pitching herself to.
Yeah.
So they made sure to make sure she wasn't, like, a one-note character, which I appreciated.
Yeah, they were a lot deeper. And that helped also us connecting and relating to those characters because they have to be kind of deep because you're bringing in family members, too. Mm-hmm. And the strong point of this movie, having you be able to look at the family members and go like, oh, I see my dad in that. I see my mom in that. Yeah. I see my sister in that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I thought they both did really good. Lauren London did a great job.
Yeah.
And obviously, Eddie Murphy.
He's good. He's funny.
I'm such an Eddie Murphy person. Ever since Beverly Hills Cop, I've been waiting for him to make his triumphant return. He's had some real stinkers in the last 10 years, but this movie was not one of them. I thought he had a great sense of humor here. Played the perfect stern father. His jokes, the Islam jokes, and him playing an Islamic father were just on point.
Very like Black Panther.
Power
vibes.
Yes, very Black Panther. Like I'm from Wakanda. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. I enjoyed seeing him as this stern father
Yeah.
with the like really quippy, like really funny.
Well, and the good part about
Liners.
this is like dads can, when they watch this movie, they're gonna look at Eddie Murphy and go like, I was there before. Like,
Oh yeah,
like
obviously.
you know, like there's no way this piece of crap podcaster is dating my daughter, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then we have Julia Louis-Dreyfus playing the crazy mom that has no social convention, no social awareness at all.
She was so funny.
Yeah, she was very funny, and it's hard, like, you know, when you get that much cringe where you can't really watch the screen, you have both eyes squinting.
Yeah.
That was a lot of the scenes with her in it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cringe in like a good way. Like, because you see the things she's doing and it's like, oh my God, like you are a stereotypical Jewish mom who just wants him to find a nice Jewish girl, and you're just so out of what mainstream culture is that it was good.
yeah, and like it was really hard because her character specifically, I was like, is so close to like my own mother. On seeing how like when they just don't understand, they'll say something and you're just like, you can't say it like that.
Yeah.
Like just stop, and you're just like, please stop. So much of this film was like that for all characters, like the dad, the
Yeah.
mom, the sisters, the brothers. Like there were all points when you're like, oh God, please stop.
I loved Jonah Hill's little sister in this movie because she was like the one where she's aware, like she's still an awkward teenager.
Yeah.
Right? But like her reactions to her mother were just so funny. Like her mother says something and you just see her like just in the corner of the frame, like face palming so hard.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because that's what we're doing as we're watching it, like doing the same things as
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
And she just stands there. I think there's one line where she literally goes, Mom, no, don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Oh, yeah, because her mom's asking this girl why she doesn't have her. This girl has a tattoo on her chest. Black girl, one of Amira's friends. And she's like, oh, what's your tattoo for? And she's like, oh, for Big Papa, because he had my heart. And it's on the wrong side of her chest.
and then her,
and the mom, Julia's character can't resist being like, oh, well, shouldn't it? And she's like, Mom,
shouldn't
no.
it be on the other? And then yeah, she's like, Mom, just don't stop.
Can't help it. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, and the funny thing about the daughter, like his little sister, is like she's Coca-Cola and she's fully aware of it.
Oh yeah.
Like in that, like, but then she also makes fun of it the whole time, like as the young sister.
Yeah.
And Jonah Hill's character Ezra makes fun of her too. That's the whole cool thing about it, is like knowing who you are and still being able to make fun of it. I really, really enjoyed that part.
She was a great example of like Gen Zers.
Yes.
Because Gen Zers are so aware of everything that is said and the cultural appropriation and the tone of something. Like she was that Gen Z kid who every single word she's like, oh my God, you can't say that. Oh my God, you can't say that. You just see her brain moving. Like these are all no's.
Yeah.
But then she had fun with it too, it was good.
Yeah. But the movie, like we said, relates to characters, the characters in the movie back to everyday people, a lot of people in your families. There were so many moments. The moment when, during the spa trip, when Ezra's mom assumed the receptionist was racist.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
it was funny.
It's like that character, like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is like, she was taking it as like she was doing a good thing and she wanted to stand up and like have the ability to stand up for her token, you know, her black soon-to-be daughter-in-law, you know, and that it was, and it's like, I just work here, bro. That's a perfect example where I was like, I think, like, so I know someone in my family who is exactly like that, and you're just like, no, it's not. Just stop. Just let it go.
Like you're taking it out of context. You're thinking into it. You're thinking into it.
You're
too
leading
much.
into it. It's not. That's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so much that we can relate to.
What do you think was like the most like cringe moment from the parents?
From the parents?
Yeah. Like the one that just like really got you.
Well, I like when they were at dinner for the first time and the lighting of the kufa and talking about back and forth saying who had it worse, Jews or
Oh, I
like
forgot about that scene.
like the Jews or Muslims who had it worse. They got in a full shouting match at dinner about each of their heritages on who had it worse, the Jews or Muslims or whatever. No,
that one was specifically blacks, like slaves.
Oh yeah, slaves.
Slaves or Jews.
Slaves
which, like,
or Jews, yeah.
I mean, honestly, brought over to another country and forced to work, torched in gas chambers.
Yeah. Well, we can agree, like one was genocide, so
yeah, one was a literal genocide.
yeah, I mean, like they're either way, like comparing is I don't know how productive it is to compare them anyways.
Not productive, but
it was just like
funny.
social. It was like social standing for them at that time. They're like, they were both trying to get a leg up on the other family at the time.
Yeah.
During the dinner, which whatever, but it just made a good comedy out of it.
Also, kudos to them to being, I think, like the one, like that's the only way to be able to make like a Nazi and a slave joke work.
Yes.
It's without anyone getting offended.
Right.
Like that is truly the only way you could have done that joke.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy they had that in there because, I mean, I think a lot of people, especially with like Netflix and everything, would have been like, oh, we can't put something like that in here. Like, we can't do that. And they're like,
and the thing
fuck
is,
it's
like,
funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is funny, but it's not just that. Is you have to take the intention into consideration with it. Like, you're making a joke, and these families trying to get along, and they're doing this. Mm-hmm. Like, it is comedy. And also, when they were shooting this scene, I guarantee you all of them were laughing their asses off.
Oh, my God.
Like, there's
I want to
no
see the
way.
bloopers.
Right, there's no way that you shoot this scene without dying.
Yeah. I don't think I would be able to do it. I would have just been, like, on the floor crying.
Yeah. But the movie was really cool. It's like in a lot of ways, you watch suspense films and you're sitting on the edge of your seat. In some ways, the movie had you doing that because the eggshells of like the black and white interaction, like who's gonna say the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that where you're like, oh God, please don't say the wrong thing. Like be so like especially with the mother, but just a lot of the characters doing that. The film also explores interracial relationships in a way that maybe the same race couples don't have to go through. Mm-hmm. Like, what is it like having a black person dating a white person, and what do they have to go through that others don't?
Yeah.
It just like, because there are pretty significant culture differences generally. Granted, like every individual is their own individual, which paves like through in this film, like this is what's most important. Like people are different regardless of where they come from.
Yeah.
But it does show like, hey, my family's going to be a lot different. Maybe they don't understand some things. Mm-hmm. And that they use that to their advantage to pose these like really cringe moments or like these eggshell moments. And it's probably getting better too, though. Mm-hmm. You have to think like today there's a lot of lots of interracial relationships, and they just think of it as like I would like to think that if like I was ever in one, I wouldn't think about that at all. The whole, I know it's, what is it? I don't see white, I don't see black, I just see, the person,
I think a great example of this, I can't believe I'm literally just putting two and two together. Because if we were smart, we would have had these two people watch the podcast and somehow record this episode with us. Is Cole, my brother, and his girlfriend Joe.
Yeah.
Are an interracial couple. They've been dating for going on 2+ years. And, like, I'm sure, like, there's some issue. Like, some, obviously, cultural issues from their families. But anytime I see them bring up race, it's always poking fun at each other's race. But, like, it's, like, quippy one-liners. Like, Cole will say something at Joe, and she will fire right back at him for being, like, a skinny white boy. Like, I feel like that's the best way to handle being in an interracial couple, or being in an interracial relationship, is knowing your culture, learning the other person's culture, and being able to understand, and also, like, just, I don't know, not take it so serious. Because I feel like everyone is so afraid to offend everyone. But if you just kind of let go of that and, like, make funny jokes about each other that, like, you now think is funny because you know that person, like, yeah, he is a skinny white boy, but right. Like, you're dating him.
Well, and you have to think of it like this. New couples, even in same race relationships, it's difficult meeting families and parents as it is. And then you throw the possibility of there being like serious differences in there with and like even if you don't see the race differences, right? Like let's say both the couples, black and white, they don't see that and as they shouldn't see that.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean their parents aren't going to. You're bringing in different people that may see that. And that's the whole thing, right? Like I mean, a lot of these really old timers, like old timers, whatever. I don't want to call them racist, but it kind of is. It's like you can't date a black girl for whatever reason. You can't date a black guy or whatever.
Well, the parents in this movie, it wasn't about dating their race. It was like, you will marry a Jewish girl.
Right.
You will marry an Islamic brother.
Right, the filter.
Yeah,
the filter
they
religion.
ran it through the religion. And they're like, you will marry someone in our religion.
Right.
You will not bring someone home that's not our religion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's very smart.
Oh, yeah. It's the more I think about it, the more I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's
you guys
really,
are
really
so smart.
Yeah, and the other thing that I really like about the film is it doesn't agenda push and it doesn't propagandize to you. Like it's not trying to push anything on you. It's showing this. It's showing this couple and just telling you that it doesn't matter. Skin color, culture doesn't matter. Love is most important, which is just a really basic, true message. It's very true, right?
Yeah,
honest, and that's what I really like. And Ezra's character pushes back to his like.
His
podcast host that says black and whites will never get along because of slavery, blah, 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 blah.
And she's black. And we should preference for the people.
Well, she, they, them, they're black.
No, she's a she.
Was it a she?
Yeah, it was a she. Because remember, that was a joke. She went on the bachelor party and the dad didn't realize. The dad was like introducing himself to Ezra's best friend.
Oh yeah.
And she goes, "Yeah, I have tits." And then the guy goes and sits down and says, "Do you know Mo had tits?" And his son goes, "Yeah, she's a girl."
Yeah. Yeah.
That was funny.
It's just one of those things where they push a little bit, and then there's always something to strike down some of the pre-existing narratives that the media is always pushing, which is really nice. But generally, you like the movie?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I thought so too. I definitely think that more people should see this.
Yeah.
And don't take it so seriously. That's what I would say. Don't take it seriously. Just watch it as a pure, like its value as pure entertainment. And I think you'll get more out of it.
It's just so relatable.
Yeah.
Like, you can see your parents and the parents in this movie. If you've ever had to have a significant other meet your parents, you feel exactly like the main characters at some point. Like, it's so relatable.
Yeah, and like the characters do, because of their families, not a fault of their own, do have to split up at the end. The parents see through their own bullshit, and are able to get them back together, which is really nice. At the end, so,
their parents realized that they were the problem of either trying to push them away or trying to focus too much. Well, yeah, trying to push them away and focusing too much on their race / religion.
Yeah, right.
And then being like, oh, well, this person actually makes you really happy. I shouldn't care.
Right. So like good wins out. It's a good-hearted film.
Wins.
Love wins. Warm-hearted movie. So, all right. That is the movie review that we wanted to give you from you people. Go watch it on Netflix. Tell us what you think on all of our socials.
Yes. As a reminder, we have bi-weekly show uploads on Wednesdays. Next episode is going to be season 4, episode 4 on March 1st. We'll have your monthly scoop, guys.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Strive Nation podcast with your hosts Cory, Estreen, and Taylor Huff.
Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Strive Nation Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Join us for our next episode in 2 weeks. And remember, when the world is upside down, Strive Nation is right side up for you guys. Have a good one.